Today we're going to talk about why exes always seem to come back after you stop chasing after them. So I actually have a personal history with this particular question because this has actually been the number one thing that I have studied for the past 5 years. So in 2015, I started my very first podcast on ex-boyfriend recovery, aptly named the Ex-Boyfriend Recovery Podcast. The way the podcast worked was pretty simple. I would basically allow people to call in and leave voicemails asking me their questions about their breakups. And then I would sort through and I would find the most interesting voicemail, and then I would just spend 20 minutes answering it. And then I'd give kind of like a detailed game plan of what they should be doing. Well, our second episode ever, or somewhere around the second episode ever, we got a voicemail from a woman who was basically saying, I tried to get my ex back and I failed. Then I just moved on with my life. I stopped chasing my ex. I just sort of started working on my own business and I got successful with the business. And after a year of doing this, my ex suddenly calls me up and wants to go on a date. Why? Now, what I find fascinating about this particular question isn't the fact that this happened, but it's the fact that this kept happening with a lot of our clients. And so when we started doing success story interviews, we started asking our success stories, hey, by any chance, did you at any point talk to your ex or make this internal shift within yourself about your ex where you're just like, I don't care about getting them back anymore. I'm going to stop chasing them. And when you made that shift, did you start to see results? And we started to notice a trend emerging among our own success stories. It was often the women and men who were able to let go of their ex, to stop chasing their ex. At that point is when they started seeing results. So what we started to notice among pretty much all of our clients is that after a breakup, almost always have what we call an unhealthy obsession with their ex. They're often checking their phone 25 times a day, hoping that their ex is texting them. They're spying on their Facebook accounts, their Instagram accounts, checking their Instagram stories, their Snapchat stories. The list can go on and on. And research actually suggests that getting over a breakup is the exact same feeling as trying to get over a drug addiction. Hey there, real quick before we get you back to your video, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, well, please do that. It really does help. It helps keep our video editors paid. It helps us keep doing these high quality videos. And it's really 5 seconds out of your day to click one little button. So if you could, please just click the subscribe button. No harm, no foul if you're not interested, but we figured we'd try. All right, let's get you back to your video. Scientists a few years ago took people who were going through breakups and started studying the effects that breakups have on a brain. And they found that the same part of the brain that lights up when a drug addict is going through withdrawal is the part of the brain that lights up when someone who's gone through a breakup is sort of longing for an ex. So it makes sense that you're searching in all of these places, obsessing about what your ex is up to, wanting to get them back. But why is this such a mistake? Well, I think before we talk about why it's such a mistake, we need to talk about the core worry that people have. So the number one thing that we have found people really struggle with when they're in these obsessive mentalities is a fear-based idea. And that fear is that you're worried your ex is going to move on to someone new. And this fear dictates every single action that you take. It dictates the action of checking your ex's Facebook, their Snapchat stories, their Instagram stories, seeing if they've updated anything on any social media platform. It's all usually rooted in the fear that you are scared that they're going to find someone else, that they're going to effectively replace you. So why is letting this fear control you such a bad idea? Well, the obvious sort of reason would be that it makes you look incredibly desperate. Studies have been done on playing hard to get and how playing hard to get is actually one of the smartest dating techniques that you can use, not seeming too available. It seems like common sense when I sit here and say people value unavailable things more than available ones. I think you can look at any Christmas sale or Black Friday sale to see sort of that interaction people have with scarcity. The fact that this is a scarce resource and we all need to get it, otherwise I'm going to lose it. that fear of loss based. You're indicating to them that you are not a scarce resource, that they can have you at any time that they want. So that's the first reason we think that sort of chasing an ex is a bad idea. The second reason is a little bit more difficult to explain. Ultimately, it makes you look reactionary. All right, one of the big pillars that I try to teach the people who watch my YouTube channel, mostly women, is the fact that if you're going to be trying to get your ex back, they cannot be your first priority. How does this look? Your ex makes some post on Facebook about going out with friends, and you angrily text them about it. It looks like you're spending every moment of every day on your computer or on your phone waiting for that next Facebook update or Instagram picture or story or whatever you're looking for with your ex. And when they do, you react, and it makes you look not only desperate, but also that you don't have your own life. This sort of caters into the idea of why we believe that chasing your ex is such a mistake. So let's harken back to that phenomenon. Why do results tend to come after you've given up chasing after your ex? For years, we operated under the assumption that this phenomenon existed, but we couldn't quite psychologically explain it. So one of the things that we're often proud of on ex-boyfriend recovery is the fact that we always try to find research or personal experience in the field to back up what we're saying. Of course, research always does help. It's not enough for me to just sit here and say, hey, stop chasing your ex, it works. Why? Well, all these people that we've coached, it's worked for them, but we really can't explain why. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I conducted an interview and finally the light bulb clicked. Really understanding why chasing after your ex is such a mistake and why results tend to come after you've given up trying to get them back or you've stopped chasing them. It's rooted in attachment theory. I know I sound like a broken record. I talk about this all the time, especially in some of my more recent articles, YouTube videos, and even podcast episodes, but it's because it's true, and it's because we still find consistently people don't really understand this. So what is it? We know from lots of research about our own sort of client base that most of our clients tend to have anxious type of attachment styles. They tend to be the ones to chase their exes, to beg for them back, to act extremely needy and desperate. We also know that their exes tend to be avoidant by nature, meaning when they feel some type of emotional intimacy, they tend to push that intimacy away, citing the fact that they believe their independence is going to get harmed, that they'll no longer be independent, and it's easier for them to just drop bait and run as opposed to potentially losing their independence. So you have these two clash of styles, and this is oftentimes a primary reason for why we're finding breakups actually do occur. So why is it that after you've given up, after you've stopped chasing after your ex, that you start to see results? Well, we believe a lot of the work we have you do tries to not necessarily shift your attachment style all at once, but we're trying to shift your attachment style more towards a secure attachment style, meaning having the fortitude and confidence that you are going to be okay after this breakup, and it's okay if you don't get them back. And then when you operate with that secure attachment mindset, when you talk to your ex all of a sudden subconsciously understands something is different about them. What is it? And it creates curiosity and makes them want to not necessarily come back altogether, but it makes them want to begin to look at you as if you're a new person. Then there's the concept of secure attachment gravity. So there are four main attachment styles. You have secure, anxious, avoidant, and fearful. We've already talked about really three: secure, anxious, and avoidant. Fearful attachment styles, on the other hand, is kind of taking the worst combinations of anxious attachment styles and avoidant attachment styles and sort of combining them into this really weird, herky-jerky attachment style. The reason I don't like to talk about fearful attachment styles that often is because 7% of the population has one. That's not a lot. So generally speaking, your ex is not going to be the exception to the rule. But here's the interesting thing when you're looking at all four main attachment styles. Secure attachment styles almost act like gravity for all the other attachment styles. It's not necessarily going to cause your ex to change their attachment style, but let's use an example. Let's pretend that you have a secure attachment style and your ex is an avoidant attachment style. Just by being with you, they will begin to copy or mirror secure attachment traits. It's like this gravity that pulls this avoidant attachment more towards the secure attachment. The challenge isn't really getting an ex back, it's keeping them once you get them back. 50% of our clients who end up getting their exes back end up breaking up again, and we're trying to study why that is. Our theory, our working theory right now, is the fact that oftentimes the work we have you do is about trying to help you have this attachment style that's more secure. And when you do that, you kind of pull your ex in. But oftentimes when you get back into a relationship with them, you kind of settle into old habits. You start going more to those anxious attachment style traits that maybe turned your ex off in the first place, and it creates another breakup. So all of this is to say, chasing is an anxious type of an attachment style thing to do. Not chasing is a secure attachment style thing to do. So don't chase your ex. Hey there, if you're interested in learning what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back, my best recommendation for you would be to take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz. It's a free, simple 2-minute quiz designed to basically tell you what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back on our website, exboyfriendrecovery.com. Simply look in the description link below this YouTube video and click the link you see there if you're interested in taking this quiz. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. It really does make a difference. It really does help. All you gotta do is just go below, click that subscribe button, and hit the bell notification if you want updates on whenever we come out with a new video. I'll see you next time.